I'm Ned Lomigora, CEO of Cape End Development. I'm speaking to Adrian Mendoza, General Partner of Mendoza Ventures. Hi, Adrian, and welcome to the program.
Hey, Ned. Thanks for having me on. Good to see you again.
So tell us more about Mendoza Ventures.
Hey, we're a Boston-based fintech, AI, and cybersecurity pre-seed venture fund. We're a little different because we focus on being first institutional money in and at the same time being very, very hands-on with our companies. All the general partners come from operating experience, and we like to share that with the companies as well as the domain expertise of our LPs as well.
Great. Well, recently we've been reading news about high valuations of different companies. For example, Y Combinator just came out with a cohort which had valuations of pre-revenue and pre-product of about $20 to $30 million. Do you think we are in a valuation bubble?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's always been a distinction between what's happening on the West Coast and what's happening on the East Coast or what's happening in New York. And I think valuations are really location specific. So when you look at valuation, part of it is important to see what the market will bear. And when you have an area where there's a lot of excitement of investment, VC firms are springing up in the valley as faster than you can have McDonald's springing up. You're literally having firms that want to invest in companies and want to deploy capital. I mean, if you look at the amount of millionaires that were made out of the most recent IPOs, there's a lot of cash being deployed right now and ability to get deployed. And I think there's a lot of excitement about that. Part of it is as you look in different verticals, let's take a look at Boston. Boston has always been very conservative. We're always looking at the difference of instead of consumer facing, more B2B facing, and that creates more of a conservative lens on looking for customer traction first before you start doing that much investment, and that creates a nice sort of ability to kind of control the valuation to not be too large. When we look at ourselves as a firm, because we come in so early, we look at setting a valuation where you're not just setting it now, you're looking at how do you go future forward. You're looking at what this round will be 2 to 3 funding rounds in the future, so that you don't want to overvalue the company and not be able to raise money or undervalue the company. You really are looking for a good mix of how much the company wants to sell, how much dollars you want to take in so that you have 12 to 18 months runway, which should always be the case. And then out of that, you start, and how much, the VC firm wants to own. And I think it's really critical to look at these details and say, okay, as an entrepreneur, how much do I want to give up? Can you go as far as you can without raising money? And when you do, what does that look like? And being strategic about who, how, and where you raise the money.
So you brought up a great point. I noticed recently, and talking to some of the friends and colleagues in the investment world, wealthy individuals, they're kind of retracting a little bit from investing because they're looking at a lot of companies are actually pandering a lot to raising capital and not so much on building sustainable and great businesses. So a lot of times spend on raising money, but not so much on building businesses. Now, you mentioned something that you look at, we are conservative in Boston, but also the way your company works. Basically, you look for sustainability, you look for revenue, you look for those things that will be great businesses in the future. So tell us how you get around that issue.
Absolutely. I think when you look at a profile of the company we like to invest in and look at, we actually have a checklist of what we look for, and that has to be a company that has raised a friends and family round from 100 to 150,000. So it's not just grandma; it's another angel that agrees with your investment thesis or your product thesis. You have to have a first customer, so that there is a paying customer. So there's a level of market validation. Someone is writing you a check to understand that yes, I agree and I believe in your product. You also have to have a real product. I mean, that's critical for us. You have to have something that's in the market, not just an idea, where you have technical and validation, where you have product validation. Even if the product marketing fit isn't perfect, that's something that sort of we can look and adjust. And you also have to be looking to raise a seed round so that it's not just like one and done, that there is actually, a couple of KPIs, key performance metrics leading up into what the next funding round would be. And you're absolutely right. It really is about, when we look at it, how do we find sustainability and not just, can this company go from looking to raise money, most typical startups, are about 2 to 3 years where kind of they're in, you know, negative and they're using funds. But we want to see how do you get from first fundraise to second fundraise to start getting to profitability faster than normal, because that's what makes
Yeah.
a better exit, but also a better existing one.